Good morning, I'm Leah Warren, and this is your news at 10 o'clock. 10 days ago, on April 26th, an SUV drove through Vancouver's Lapu Lapu Festival, killing 11 and injuring dozens. One BC MLA says the Filipino community is coming together despite the tragedy. Our producer, Thomas Adams, has more on the story and other news we're following today. Thank you, Thomas. Vancouver Kingsway MP Don Davies has been chosen to be the interim leader for the federal NDP by the party's National Council. Davies was first elected in 2008 and led the NDP negotiations with the Liberals to advance dental care and pharmacare legislation while serving as the party's health critic. Former leader Jagmeet Singh announced his resignation after he lost his own Burnaby Central seat in the April 28th election. A date has not been set for when the party will choose its next leader. The winner of the April election, Prime Minister Mark Carney, says he expects, quote, difficult but constructive talks today when he meets for the first time with U.S. President Donald Trump. ABC's Karen Traverse reports Carney is in Washington to sit down with Trump at the White House as trade tensions between the two countries continue.
Today we're looking to see if there is any attempts at a reset or if Mark Carney is coming in very dug in with some of his strong comments about the United States. He has talked about an American betrayal and has said that Canada should not forget the lessons that they have learned by what Donald Trump has done so far since he's taken office.
Carney and Trump are expected to meet at the White House around 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Summer is coming up. The number of wildfires in British Columbia has roughly doubled over the past several days, but an information officer with the BC Wildfire Service says the activity can be attributed to the annual spring dip. Amanda Graves said the phenomenon is caused by a decrease in moisture in the needles of coniferous trees. She says it comes shortly after the snow has melted, but before vegetation begins to get really green. But Graves says it's too soon to say whether recent fires are an indicator of what's to come this wildfire season. The BC Wildfire Service dashboard shows there were over 46 active fires as of midday Monday, 6 of which were started in the previous 24 hours, and 80% were human-caused. Graves noted that BC doesn't get much lightning at this time of year, which explains why most fires in the spring are human-caused. The Wildfire Service posted a seasonal outlook last month, which forecasted a warmer than usual spring, coupled with above-average precipitation for coastal and central BC, which could help mitigate the persisting drought. In international news, American press correspondent Julie Walker reports on day 2 of jury selection in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking case.
The federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs, one of the biggest music moguls and cultural figures of the past 4 decades, began Monday in New York with jury selection. 12 jurors, along with 6 alternates, need to be chosen, with opening statements expected to begin on May 12th for the trial that is expected to last at least 8 weeks. Combs is charged with 5 counts, including sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Prosecutors say 4 of his accusers will testify, and a judge ruled they can show jurors security video of Combs beating one of his accusers, his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. Julie Walker, New York.
For the weather, it's another sunny day in Burnaby with an expected high of 23 and a low of 9 overnight. Expect some rain tomorrow and clouds for the rest of the week. I am Leah Warren, and this is BCIT's The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning, I'm Hayden Stewart and this is your 10-10 Sports Update. In basketball, Nikola Jokic had 42 points and 22 rebounds, and Aaron Gordon hit a three-pointer with 2.88 seconds to give the Denver Nuggets a stunning 121-119 comeback win over the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder on Monday night in Game 1 of their Western Conference semifinals. Denver's Russell Westbrook, who started his career with the Thunder, assisted on Gordon's game winner. It was his first playoff game in Oklahoma City as an opposing player. Thunder's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. The team hadn't played in more than a week after sweeping the Memphis Grizzlies. Their next game is tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. In the other games last night, Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby each scored 29 points before Mikal Bridges stole the ball from Jaylen Brown with a second left in overtime. And the New York Knicks stunned the Boston Celtics 108-105 in Game 1 of their Eastern Conference semifinals matchup. Karl Anthony Towns added 14 points and 13 rebounds for New York, which lost all 4 games against its longtime rival during the regular season and even trailed by 20 points in the second half of this game. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both had 23 points for the defending champion Celtics, who had an NBA playoff record 45 missed three-pointers to blow a game they appeared to have full control in. They next play tomorrow at 4 p.m. in Boston. But there is more NBA playoff action tonight as the Indiana Pacers and Cleveland Cavaliers continue their series at 4 p.m. Indiana currently leads the series 1-0. Also, the Golden State Warriors take on the Minnesota Timberwolves at 6:30. This will be the first time the Warriors are underdogs in a playoff series in over 10 years. The NBA's all-time coaching wins leader, who recently stepped down, made his first media appearance in roughly half a year. Correspondent Gethin Kuhlbau reports.
Greg Popovich spoke publicly Monday for the first time since suffering a stroke 6 months ago.
I can never express the gratitude that I have for so many people.
The 76-year-old expressed at the news conference where the Spurs formally introduced Mitch Johnson as his replacement that the time was right to make that move.
Things are getting better by the day, but it's not good enough for what we plan ahead.
Flanked by Spurs greats Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili, Popovich spoke far more softly than he has in the past. The 38-year-old Johnson served as interim in Popovich's absence for much of this past season.
I am honored by this opportunity.
I'm Gethin Kuhlbau.
In hockey, the Toronto Maple Leafs held off the Florida Panthers 5-4 in their opener of their second-round NHL playoff series. Maple Leafs forward William Nylander scored Toronto's first 2 goals. He says a good start was key.
We came out, we got a couple good scoring chances, we were able to capitalize on them, so that was nice for us. But yeah, we're just focused on the next game now.
Maple Leaf goaltender Anthony Stolarz had to leave the game after Panthers forward Sam Bennett's knee collided with his head. He had to be stretchered out of the arena. Game 2 in the best-of-7 series will be played tomorrow in Toronto. More second-round action starts today as the Carolina Hurricanes take on the Washington Capitals at 4 p.m., and the Edmonton Oilers are facing the Vegas Golden Knights at 6:30. The NHL Draft Lottery took place last night. The Vancouver Canucks did not move up at all and have the 15th overall pick. 2 major jumps did happen, though. The Utah Hockey Club jumped up 10 spots and have the 4th overall pick, and the New York Islanders jumped up 9 spots to get the 1st overall pick. The NHL entry draft will take place Friday, June 27th and Saturday the 28th. In baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays are in California tonight for a 3-game series against the Angels. Newly signed pitcher Jose Urena is expected to start tonight. In his one appearance with the New York Mets this year, Urena pitched 3 innings and gave up 5 runs. In soccer, Barcelona and Inter Milan are set to play their second and final game of the Champions League semifinal. The teams are tied 3-3 after the roller coaster of a match last week. Milan's captain, Lautaro Martinez, is expected to play or even start today after he left the game at halftime with a thigh muscle injury. Barcelona is also getting a reinforcement as forward Robert Lewandowski is returning after missing the first game. That has been your sports update at 10:10. I'm Hayden Stewart, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika